Hey guys, recently I was listening to someone I follow on YouTube. I can't remember who it was anymore. So many different people, but he was talking about the difference between believers and seekers, and it really stuck with me. Anyways, a little bit of overview of what he was talking about. He gave some great stories, but anyway, believers, because they don't understand something, we all don't understand really what's going on in life and purpose of life, its deepest purpose, and who God is and what happens after we die or before we die or before we're born. But we can get glimpses of it, and a lot of religions have given a lot of stories around it. But anyhow, so wherever you are on that pendulum, if you will, because sometimes I've swung all different directions on what I thought I believed about the true purpose of life and where we came from, where we're going, all that stuff. But anyhow, so believers would be people who want to take some narrative about that whole process in life and lock it down like, this is what I know, this is what's true, and this is what's right, and nothing else fits in this box. So that would be a believer. For believers to be successful, they need to be around a lot of other believers. So believers tend to gather up and recruit other believers as well. They don't want to hear anything about other options, and they want to push the option that they have latched onto. They want to hang around other people who have latched onto the same belief. Makes life a little simpler, a little softer, a little bit anyway, it's a roller coaster on the other end of the spectrum, which is to be a seeker. And seekers don't want to latch onto anything for fear that it might hold them back from getting a better picture or a bigger picture or whatever. So that allows you to really be more present when you're with other people. You can listen better. You can draw other people's stories out. What, even if they're a believer, what do you believe? And maybe you'll open up a little bit of some of their fear to grasp a bigger picture. Because some people's believers are, I'm an atheist and I believe nothing happens. Nothing happened before we got here, nothing happens after we die, and that's it. And I'm not alone in that view. And I hang out with people who feel the same way, and I talk to people about feeling the same way. If that's where you are, then that's certainly not a seeker. And a seeker would be someone, like I said, they're, chasing truth or higher purpose, or however you'd want to put it. They're chasing that at all cost. And I totally resonated more with being a seeker. I've gone through a lot of views of religions and a lot of ways of pursuing what I thought was truth or higher purpose. And I held a lot of things in my mind over the years that didn't make sense to me and seemed contradictory to other things I believed at the time. So I just got used to that. Let's just let that float. I don't know what it means or how it fits in. It seems to contradict now, but it might not in the future. So anyway, I'm always putting pieces of the puzzle together and moving them around and reprioritizing which ones I think are more real. But anyhow, from that point, I'm looking at trying to further my journey. And I wouldn't say I've come up against a roadblock, but I think it's more I see an opportunity. But there's always been that saying, givers gain, and you can't have what you don't give to someone else, or you certainly can't give to someone else something you don't have. And that when you ask a question, the answer comes to you. When you knock on the door opens, whatever. All those analogies of saying that you need to have purpose in what you're going for this. If you're going for higher peace, inner peace, and that's certainly something that I would say I'm chasing. Although I feel like I'm more at peace than anybody I know around me. But that doesn't mean that there's an end to it or that you've achieved, and because there's just no end to the level of content you can have, or not contempt, but being content. But anyhow, where was I going with that? Really, the bigger picture is that I'm getting a sense of the awesomeness of having something that you're giving to someone else is the ticket to getting it for yourself. So if I want some real wisdom and some real understanding, I feel like I need to share that with the world in some way. I definitely feel, though, as I've grown, people around me have grown without me really doing anything. So I'm not sure what I really need to do or what I feel called to do. I'm studying some healing now, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening in the, hands-on or even from a distant healing that I think is really cool, and I've always been interested in that. But I don't see myself as a person sitting in a, chiropractor's office doing hands-on healing or something as a adjunct to other modes of healing and growth. So I don't really know where that's going to lead me, but I'm playing with that. But I'm also just trying to sit with the question. And so I thought I'd share it on this video of what is calling me the most. I certainly feel called to help people, and I feel for a lot of people's struggles. I see a lot of struggles that I look at it from the outside, and I'm like, I could help you with that, but it would take some time. You'd have to be interested and want to be healed, and I'd have to want to heal you and take the time. Not that I think it's going to take a lot of time, but anyway, as I said, for now I'm just practicing being present with people and praying for people, and that all seems to be helpful, and I might find that's the ticket, and that's the end of it. And just because they're not sitting in front of me and I see the change, that maybe it is a big change in people around me that can be obtained just by prayer. Which I would really sort of, prayer is such a washed down word now, but it's really more of collecting up my own personal energy and love and appreciation for myself, and feeling that very strongly and putting it out to someone else by appreciating them in my mind, picturing them in my mind. I've given lots of people a lot of big, long hugs in my mind. So if you ever feel like you've got one from me, call me. Dara just did today. I was really, I whipped up a whole bunch of love and positive feeling and meditation, and I sent it all to Dara, and giving her hugs and appreciating all of her gifts she's giving me, and sending her healing energy and all that type of stuff. Not for healing of anything she's suffering from, but just for growth. Anyhow, I sent all that to her, and while I was sending that to her, I thought to myself, I should probably check in with her and see if she's felt anything. I was having visions in my mind of, I knew she was out for a bike ride, and I'm like, I'm going to make a wreck on her bike. I was hoping she was done with the ride by the time I was praying about it, but got to go with the moment. So anyhow, if I was riding a bike, I would have fallen off because it was pretty powerful on my end. Anyway, it only lasts for maybe 2 minutes. And at 2 minutes, Dara sends me a text about thinking about me. Basically, she had stopped on the bike, saw someone there that she doesn't really know but knew of, and he's a little bit really tough to be around, and he'll just suck you into his little lowly conversations about himself and same stories, over and over and over again. But anyway, so Dara saw him and thought about me and thought how patient I was with him, giving him a chance to tell his stories. And anyway, so I texted her and asked, hey, did you just send me that text because you felt me loving you? And we went, first she's like, oh yeah, I always feel your love, and that's that. But I was like, no, I really want to know. And as she looked into it a little bit deeper, we only did this conversation through texting because she was with somebody, but she said that, I think the conclusion, we both kind of couple texts went back and forth, but the conclusion we came to was that she was really feeling loved by me, and then kind of looked around for what was it around her that was making her feel so loved. Saw this guy, thought about me, and then appreciated me back and said, I'm going to send a text to Dan, about how much, what a great guy he is. And basically that's what I was giving her hugs about, is what a great wife she's been, and friend and mother and everything else. And anyway, so that was cool to get that feedback right away. But anyhow, a lot of fun stuff like that has happened, but I'll try to share some of them. But I think that's all I have to say. So other than I love you guys, and invite you to get on your own journey and sit with questions about what you're going to do with your life, or who you want to become when you grow up. And as I struggle with that, I'll share with you what I've figured out so far. But so far, not much. Just other than I want to stay on the journey. Anyway, see you guys. Out.